Everyone. Welcome to Kumbali 2020, a Rebuilt Bali Festival. This is a digital program designed to inspire, excite, reconnect, and revitalize the Balinese and the Indonesian community from 29 October to 8 November 2020. Kembali, the Indonesian word for return or come back, represents revitalization in the face of global challenges. This festival will unite people in Bali and Indonesia together with an international audience at a time where travel is largely impossible and creating connections is more important than ever before. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Ayu Meutia. I'm going to be your moderator for today. I am a poet and an author, and this is a program, Book Launch A Journey with You, featuring author Taniya Briana. So I'm very honored to be the moderator for today. 4 years ago at UBUD Writers and Readers Festival, I had the privilege to be launching my book here. So I'm so excited that today I'm going to introduce you to the celebrated author today. Let's welcome Brianna to the screen. Hi, Brianna.
Hello, Ayu. Thank you so
Hi.
much for introducing me to the world audience. Good evening to everyone in Kambali 2020, a rebuilt Bali festival. To all my book lovers, my friends, and supporters watching my session now, I'm really glad to be with you. I was really waiting for this session. Thank you so much.
Yeah, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling wonderful, actually. Ayu, thank you so much. And meeting so many people, book lovers, in one single festival.
Mhm.
The Kambali 2020, which has really brought all of us together in one place. Though it's virtual this time due to the COVID-19
Yeah.
pandemic, but yet, technology has made it possible for all of us. So it's really nice to meet everyone all over the world. Thank you.
Yeah, it is really nice. I've been enjoying all programs from Kambali 2020 myself. And yeah, maybe before we start the book launch, maybe you want to have some forward to the audience. Maybe there are friends and family who are watching you right now, or, give us a bit of introduction about yourself and your work.
Thank you, Ayu,
Mhm.
for giving me the opportunity to introduce myself again. So, yes, I'm a writer, quite true to the words and how you introduce me. I'm a writer, I'm an author, and today we are going to book launch A Journey with You, one of my first published fiction from which was published from USA. Um, Now, I would like to start my introduction unquoting one of my favorite writers. So, unquoting, I can shake off everything as I write. My sorrows disappear. My courage is reborn. So, this is a quote by the famous Anne Frank. And as I said, quite true. I'm a writer and I write on different themes drawn from everyday life, places I travel, people I meet, and I talk to. So, I've written two fictions. And as I said, today we are talking about A Journey with You. And one more, my second published fiction, Behind the Curtains, that was published from Hong Kong. Uh, to describe myself, to introduce myself, I would say I'm not someone who is only limited to book festivals or to the bestseller list, but I'm the kind of a writer who is a keen observer of very normal things in life, of day to day things that we always do every time. Let's say, for example, when I'm traveling somewhere, and you might see me deep in my thoughts, I might actually be observing something and I might be thinking what to write in my next book. So that's the kind of person I am. And as I feel, because I believe that writing is something that it's a reflection of the writer himself or the herself. And it goes very true with my nature, with the kind of person I am. So whatever I'm feeling, I just write it down on paper. So I would say that best describes myself. Thank you.
Wow. I can tell maybe Brian and I share things in common. Like I also like to wander off my mind. Sometimes like I like to observe. But I gotta admit, sometimes I like the discipline to write it down. Sometimes it just dissolves. So maybe I have to follow your tips and guidance. Again, this is a book launch. I'm so excited to be here and moderating it. And I've read the book, and if you say that the writing or the book is a reflection of an author, and I think you're such an incredible author because there's so many elements in there. So if you allow me to kickstart the book launch, first we're going to start with Q&A, but before the Q&A starts, I would like to read the first page of Briana's book, A Journey with You.
I'm glad you loved it.
Very much, very much. Okay. Chapter 1. 65 people are killed and 470 people injured. Read out the news reporter, a national news channel. The entire city of Guwahati was devastated by the serial bomb blasts. Just between intervals of 3 seconds, 13 blasts, one after the other, had just taken place, the first being Fancy Bazaar and Paltan Bazaar. All the shops in the city were closed down immediately. There were police seen everywhere, checking each car as they passed. Victims of blasts covered in blood were carried on stretchers to hospitals. Unclaimed bodies of dead people being disposed of. The city had launched van service to dispose of the bodies. Women cling to the dead bodies of their husbands who had just gone to the nearby shops to buy groceries, little knowing that it was his last day with his family. Bodies of small children holding their mother's arm, holding their mother's hand, their bodies torn to many pieces. The municipality vans washed off the blood from the roads and pavement. Lena called her relatives and most of her friends to make sure everyone was fine. Her uncle, staying upstairs of her father's hotel, had come down to meet him to talk about the bomb blast. They had their hotel come residence at Paltan Bazaar in the city Guwahati, Assam, India. Dressed in her usual off-white short night dress, Lena was busy teaching words to her son Nick. Ever since she was divorced, Rick was the only reason she was living. Rick, who was now a 4-year-old boy, was busy writing the words his mom had dictated him. So that is the first chapter from A Journey with You. And I think like you have given so much imagery even on the first page. It's only the first page, but we can see there is a conflict going on in the Guwahati, Assam, India, starting with the bomb blast. And then we transition to a beginning, a story of Lena, a woman who is your main characters here in the book. So, and as I'm very glad to be able to finish your book. And as I progress reading it, I noticed that you do not only talk about conflict in Guwahati, Assam, which is political, ideological conflict there, but there is also a spirit of feminism. And then there's a light of Christianity, spirituality of Christianity. So these elements are very hard to blend, but somehow you manage to blend it all. So I just want to know, how is the writing process and how long did you take to finish the manuscript till the end?
Um, yeah, you're very much right. Actually, there's not one theme that the book is based on. There are a couple of themes. And as you said that, yes, of course, feminism is a very strong theme, as we can see through the life of Lena, the protagonist.
Yes.
So, and as I said in my introduction, that I'm a kind of person who loves observing things, and I draw inspiration from my day-to-day life. Now, this story is somehow related to the city I grew up in as a child, and I spent long years there. And it talks about the conflict that time, which was so much happening. There was terrorism everywhere, and people dying, and bombings everywhere. And at the same time, it's a story of a girl, a single mother, a woman, Lena, um, who stays alone with her son, with her parents. And it also talks about her inner turmoil, the inner conflict that's going on in her life. I mean, she's struggling, she's working, she's managing her son, and everything. She has lost hope in life, but at the same time, she's very strong. So I would say about my writing process, the inspiration and the themes were, some of it were drawn from whatever I saw as a child, in the city I grew up with. Whereas the other things, you might also say that as it talks about feminism, uh, I'm a very strong woman myself. You can say it's kind of reflection of my nature too, because though being born and raised up in a traditional Indian family, somewhere in India, I've always been a feminist myself, supporting independence of women and voice of women and so on. So that's how my writing and it didn't take me much to put it on paper, because one afternoon I was working and it just came to my mind and I just started writing, and the words just flew on and it went, and the book got published.
Wow. So, but how long did the manuscript, let's say, normally as an author, like myself, sometimes like we let the manuscript sometimes like sit in our drive. So, do you have that moment where you have, I must wait, or like I revise again, wait, something like that? So, like, how long was the writing process? Like, is it taking a year, like even a month, maybe? Like,
Uh,
mhm.
it really, I mean, you wouldn't believe me. It really took me very less time, because, as I
Mhm.
said, uh, I enjoy writing, and I didn't write for the sake of, giving me a big name. I didn't write for the sake of putting my name in a book festival or in the bestseller list or somewhere, as I said in my introduction. So it was there somewhere in my mind, and I just took it out from my heart. I guess I just reflected on what I knew and what I felt like about the independence of women in many parts of the world. And long time, I always felt like writing something that was quite inspiring for women of my age, especially so many women right now are they're struggling,
Mhm,
and
mhm,
bringing out the truth of the society and so on, and the conflict they are in. So the thought process was not long, neither the writing process. And as
mhm.
you said, the manuscript was not in my drive for a long time. I started writing, and before I could imagine, I actually finished writing it and it was published.
Wow. That's so amazing. So what year was this book actually, published to the public?
It was published by the end of 2017.
Okay, yeah.
At the end of 2017, yes.
Okay. So yeah, it's very good to have your book launch here, because again, like I said, so many themes that we need to dig in, and we so many things that we can talk about.
Mhm.
By the way, about things that we talk about, I see people have been writing off comments. So thank you guys. So we will have a dedicated time for the Q&A for the live audience. So you can always type in your questions or even shout out to Brianna, and we will read it after the Q&A. The Q&A between me and Brianna
Sure,
ends. Yeah. So
sure.
it wouldn't take too long. So don't worry. Please keep on writing. If you have any question for Brianna, please type, or if you want to just shout out and congratulate her because today is her day. Yeah. And you mentioned that you grew up in Assam, India, and to be a non-Indian, I think I can say that we're pretty much exposed to Indian culture through Bollywood and maybe
Yeah,
things from Delhi. I
yeah,
mentioned to you before,
I
so
guess.
I'm pretty curious again. How is Assam like? Aside from all the imagery that you have written in the book, maybe there are more things you want the audience to know about your hometown.
Yeah, of course. I'm excited to let them know about my hometown,
Yeah.
definitely. And thanks, Ayu, because very few people really asked me that question, how's Assam like? Because when people, they hear about India, so what
Mm,
comes to people, non-Indians' mind is they think of New Delhi, they think
yeah.
of Mumbai, and they think of
Mm-hmm.
Bangalore. Very rarely do people think about the northeastern part of India, which I would say is very beautiful. The people are very nice over there. It's a hill station, and where I spent almost my childhood, my education, and everything. And it's so mystical. I mean, there's so much. There's beauty. I mean, there's charm. It's mysterious. I don't know how to describe my home state, but then I would say that that was definitely the inspiration for writing my first book. If I wasn't born in Assam, Guwahati,
Mm,
I think I wouldn't be able to write my first book, A Journey with You. So
Mm,
that's definitely inspiring for me.
yeah. And I think I can tell how much, meaningful the book is because it really comes from your observation, your experience.
Mm, yes.
Um, because this is a true based on true events book. I want to know what really happens in Assam in 2011, and how was this significant to the nation of India back then, and is the terror still happening today?
Well, in back then, to the time where my book is based on, yes,
Mm-hmm.
there were terrorism. I mean, the state was the beautiful state of Assam, I would say, where people are so lovely and they are so friendly. I mean, uh, it's a contrast that such a beautiful state is terrorized,
Mm-hmm.
by bombings. I mean, you can imagine, Ayu, like as you read
Yeah.
the first chapter of the book. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if you go to Assam, you cannot imagine a state uh, being, shaded with blood everywhere and with bombings everywhere. But that was what it was happening that time. Though it's quite pleasant now. I mean, things are much relaxed right now. And as I always believe, and that's what I try to establish in this book, that it's always good that wins over evil. Evil never
Yes.
wins. And that's what I try to establish in my book too. So, though it was there, of course, but, truth has conquered and it came out victorious, and it's a much pleasant state right now to stay and to establish over there.
Yeah. I hope after the pandemic's gone, like we all can visit Assam because, actually Assam is very famous for the tea, right? And the hilly part.
Yes, yes.
So yeah,
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 yeah, it's very famous for that.
yeah. Hopefully someday I can also visit Assam.
Um,
And
yes.
yeah, after the pandemic's gone, obviously. So by the way, did you survive all that bombings and attack in your hometown back then, or was that violent that time?
Okay, that's a very interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
Which not only you, I mean, wherever I had been to, people often ask me when they hear that I'm from
Yeah.
Assam. The first question that comes to their mind is, "How did you survive the people who know
Mm-hmm.
about it?" But I would say that was somewhere. Yes, it was there. I mean, terrorism was there, and innocent people were being killed or they were victimized. But as a woman, it was very safe over there. I mean, Assamese or people from Assam, the women over there are known to be highly respected in
Mm-hmm.
society, and it's kind of a society where women are given topmost priority. So terrorism is there in its own place, okay, and they have their own objective, but not it doesn't harm the life of normal people to such an extent. So it's a very pleasant state to stay over there and work more. I mean, if people go over there once, I think they would prefer staying there rather than in Mumbai or some
Yeah.
other city of India.
Yeah, I mean, India is big. I mean, India reminds me of Indonesia. And I told you personally before, I stayed there for 2.5 months. But unfortunately, I didn't visit Assam. I was only staying in Mumbai. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned about the bomb blast. Actually, the beautiful islands of Bali was also bombed on 2002, right? So I guess like yeah, it's a very painful memory for the Indonesian nation also. I mean, such a beautiful place, Assam and Bali. It's innocent people. So again, like terrorism should be. I mean, it's our all responsibility how
You're right.
to yeah manage how to under like to handle the terror without scaring people off, without connecting it to certain kind of groups and religion.
That's right. And
Yeah.
that's how I would really like, again, going back to Assam, though
Mm-hmm.
terrorism was there. And as you just spoke about Bali,
Mm-hmm.
people do regret what happened. Whoever was involved with that, they do regret what happened over there over that time. And yes, it's a small group of people. And as we say, where there is good, there's something bad also. So we can't
Yeah.
expect everything good from somewhere. But on the other side, I would say that if you try balancing terrorism and normal life and respect of women and whatever I talked about,
Mm-hmm.
I would say the good sides are more. It's much.
Yes.
I can definitely say that from my own experience.
Yeah, I do believe that. I read somewhere one of my I follow up one of the mental health practitioner, and he told us that human actually has more like the good side are more than the evil side. So we just don't know it. We don't know that it is in us.
That's
So
right.
yeah. Well, moving on, I want to talk more about the characters in your book. So I'm so interested that you make the main character to be a female and a strong one, but at the same time, you make her vulnerable as well. So is there any reason why you make Lena here as a single mom, a survivor of domestic abuse, and also later this is a spoiler maybe for the reader, she developed a chronic illness as well. So yeah, is there any reason why you want to make Lena with this side, with this kind of like aspect in her?
Well,
Mm-hmm.
Lena, though she's a fighter and
Mm-hmm.
she's quite courageous, she's a normal woman, a normal Indian woman.
Mm-hmm.
And she has her strong sides and her, the strong and the weak sides of her life, as every woman does. It's
Yes.
only, no, everyone does. So, because we are all human beings. So though she went through a lot in her life, she didn't lose hope, and
Mm-hmm.
she still keeps on fighting. And so she's an epitome of feminism, in
Yes.
fact.
Mm-hmm.
And I have made Lena very strong. She's a very strong protagonist, as you must have noticed, Ayu, when you
Mm-hmm.
read through the pages of the book. Uh, because though she was ill, she fell ill, and at one point of time, she thought that she can never trust another man, but she does eventually. And then she goes ahead, the comfort of her home. She goes against her family, and um, she tries to bring out the good side of the terrorist gang, and so on. So whatever she does is quite normal to happen in anyone's life. Like, we do have our bad times, and we do have our strong time, but my message goes out to everyone who is watching this session today and who has read my book, that never lose hope. Like, it's always important to keep fighting, no matter whatever happens. Special to all my female friends out there, and to everyone.
Yeah. And I like you mentioned about, Lena is just every Indian woman. And even though I'm non-Indian, but I'm a woman, and I feel relatable to the characters Lena. Especially, when she was looking for a mate, and sometimes there is a standard that even women have to follow, even though she's already doing things on her own. But sometimes, there is just this expectation that just bothers me. And that is why I feel like it is good that you make Lena strong with her vulnerability. That's what I love about her characters, Lena.
Yeah.
And
So that's a very
mhm,
human side of her. I would say every human being, especially a woman. I mean, everyone needs
mhm,
love to
mhm,
survive, but then that doesn't mean that you become you start accepting the wrong things in life. And
yes.
she's the true epitome and the true protagonist of such kind of things which I wanted to portray. I mean, she does fall in love again, but
Mm-hmm.
then with the right person. and
Yes.
uh, and she does what she wants. I mean, it's not that she gives up to something, or she forgets what she is actually.
Yeah. And speaking about another female protagonist in the character in the novel, we also have another outstanding character, as I may say, and she's much younger. Her name is Maya, who is an adopted daughter of Lena. So actually, Lena in this story, she's already have a son with all the troubles that following around her. So why did you make Lena want to adopt Maya? And what inspires you to create a character like Maya?
Yes, you're very much correct. Like, there's another strong woman character, though she's of a different age level
Mm-hmm.
altogether. She's Maya. What I wanted to portray in my book is that women can be strong, not only if they come from a strong part of the society. I mean, like Lena, she belongs to the upper middle class of the society. But Maya is a poor girl, and no one knows her parents or where she came from. We only know about Maya of about whatever she told Lena. That's what we know about her, but we don't know if what she said was true, or what happened to her. But then I wanted to portray that women are always strong and fighters, no matter whichever strata or whichever status of economic status of the
Mm-hmm.
society they come from. Maya is a very poor girl, and yet she has big dreams. So
Mm-hmm.
if you read through the pages, she has really big dreams, and she achieves to be a big person in her life. And she doesn't accept the negative side, and she doesn't accept evil. At one time, the terrorist gang, they really wanted to take her into their group, but
Mm-hmm.
she didn't accept that, even though she was poor, because like Lena, she was a fighter herself. And I guess um, because it was always inside Lena, because whatever she went through in her life, and she wanted to live a very strong, independent life. She adopted Maya. So you might say that it's again a kind of bend in my novel, I would say, because
Mm-hmm.
Maya is not only a girl; she symbolizes, rather, she symbolizes feminism, rather.
Yeah, and I do agree. Actually, feminism is a grassroots movement, if I can say. So then, what is not we see every day in our life? Sometimes, like when we think of strong women, we think of a women who have already had the privilege, to be on top,
Mm,
to have a perfect life, to have the perfect husband, perfect
yes.
kids. But again, like people sometimes they tend to follow this kind of persona in social media, or even they find they like to read a book that have this kind of character. For me at least, it looks like an escape to another reality. But so what I love about your book is like it's sort of like to bring us into the reality, and it is not always tough and depressing, because at the end, if you believe in good, if you choose to be good, then you will find the lights, and then you will solve your problems in your own way, and then it always comes off positively.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what Lena did in the.
Mm-hmm.
She solved her problems in her own way. Not any time. I mean, there was not a single moment in her life where she dependent on someone. Though she stayed with her parents, she didn't depend on someone. She had friends in office, and even though she fell in love again with Rakti.
Mm-hmm.
You must have noticed that she never asked for help from someone. So she
Yeah.
was the kind of leading woman who is well capable of making her own choices, and who is well capable of living the life she wants to, and she does achieve that.
Yeah, that's very nice, I think. And now since you mentioned a bit about love of Lena, and eventually she did find love in the book, and then the love is Raktim. And the character actings is also unlocking another aspect to your novel, which is the spirituality that is, very much influenced by Christianity. And again, your book is also published by the Lighthouse Christian Publishing in the USA. Um, so yeah, and as I read the story of Lena and Raktim, I love their chemistry, but of course there has to be challenges, and they do have challenges because they're from different backgrounds of religion. They're interfaith couple,
Mm,
Lena being Hindu and
yeah,
Raktim was revealed to be Christian. And I just love the plot twist there, like the reveal.
right.
And yeah, so what is your intention to make this couple to be interfaith? Is there any message there?
My intention or my message to the audience is love is something that cannot be limited by boundaries, and that's what I wanted to show here. So religion is not important. If you really fall in love, or religion or community or culture,
Mhm.
whatever, caste or whatever, that doesn't matter in true love. So that's what I tried to show through the two different characters, Raktim and Lena. They both belong to two different religious faith,
Mhm.
and but yet as you read through the book, you also come to know that Lena gets drawn to Christianity, and that's because she doesn't believe in the limitations or the boundaries of religion, or she doesn't believe anything can come between them. So, and that's what I tried to establish. So love is a wonderful feeling. If anyone does have the chance to experience it, true love, I think they should just take the pleasure of it, instead of going into too much details about religion and community and so on, because we live once, and I believe true love happens only once in your life.
Yeah. That's nice. I kind of agree, but I wonder how is it getting accepted in India in reality today? Is interfaith marriage become more common and acceptable? Because if I can speak as an Indonesian, interfaith marriage is still like there are still people who are marrying interfaith, but it's rare. I mean, for me, it's rare to find interfaith couple, at least in my circle. So maybe you can tell, how's the perspective from, where you grow up and people
Okay.
around you.
Quite interesting questions you're asking me, Ayu. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that it's not common in India. I mean,
Mhm,
people, as people are getting educated, and with the rise of the new generation now, I would say it's much. People have started thinking out of their box,
mhm,
and they have started thinking of interreligious marriages. But still, yes, as it's a big society, and it's not that common. So
mhm,
even even now there are people who wouldn't readily accept intercaste and interreligious marriage.
mhm,
So it's not acceptable to everyone. And as I said, that my book is full of challenges. So um, I have pointed out three, four important themes. Being Lena being the protagonist and she being the center, who is really, who is reflecting this different themes. So since she's strong and she's a fighter and she belongs to a different nature altogether, she's quite open to interreligious marriage. But it might not be with everyone.
mhm.
Out there, everyone might not be open. So it does really depend on individual thoughts and individual perspective. But I think that the present generation now, because my book was based in the society in 2011, but if you're talking about 2020, I believe
Mhm.
people are much more open,
Yeah.
though not everyone. Again,
Yeah, I think, yeah, I kind of agree with you. Like, as the time progressed, then people are getting more progressive. Yeah. And yeah, that's so interesting. And then now you mentioned about, I mean, your book has some political conflict that caused the terrorism, and then there's feminism, and there's spirituality, the Christianity. So I wonder, is it difficult for you to craft the story that is inspired, I mean, that is influenced by Christianity, to be accessible to the public all across region, and all across religion and all across background? Is it hard for you to craft it?
I don't think so, because it shouldn't be hard. It's not hard for me at all, and I don't think so because uh, my book talks about, though it talks about interreligious marriage and people from two different religion coming. It might be, as I said, a class of society might object it, and they might not be so much open. But as I said,
Mm-hmm.
that we are, though it deals with a society back then in 2011, but this is 2020, and I don't think it would be very difficult to reach out to the audience or for the audience to grasp this matter. So I believe many of them would grasp this very easily, taking the new generation especially. So all my young readers out there, I believe they would be the generation or the age group who would be
Yeah.
really excited about it, or who will be grasping the matter really easily.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, the next generation should have, I think, more open mind, and then I mean, they're exposed to many cultures, with all this social media era. And you're a teacher yourself, right? So you see how the students in your class, act, get so much information. Yeah, I hope
That's
that
right.
the future generation is, can do so much more than, our generation or the
And,
generation before
and
us. Mm-hmm.
as you pointed out,
Yeah.
that I'm a teacher myself, so I'm an
Mm-hmm.
educator myself. So in no way would I portray, religion or community or caste coming between anything. Let it be love, or let it be your dream in life, or
Mm-hmm.
let it be whatever. So as I say to all my young readers out there, let not things like this hold you down and keep you down, because the world is much bigger, and you need to reach out to the stars. So you need to aim big, and everyone is equal. it's a generation now where we are talking about equality. So no
Yes.
kind of discrimination should exist,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. And I wonder what makes you want to add the element of spirituality in your story, because in modern literature, like I haven't seen that much of like spirituality theme, in their story. For example, people can pick a story about love, and it's, about living in the cosmopolitan world, material world. So how do you think that the spiritual element relevant to the modern audience?
Well, there were two things actually that
Mhm,
made me give a spiritual bent to this novel, which you're very much correct. I mean, it's quite you wouldn't see much books talking about
mhm,
modern novels or authors writing that much about spirituality nowadays. And
mhm,
that's what I feel, that spirituality is missing so much nowadays. I mean, yes, technology is important and everything is important, but I would like to say something from a very personal experience of mine, uh, where I dreamt something, and I tried a lot. So this is something I'm telling from my personal experience to all my audiences out here. But my belief in spirituality did help me to achieve that. So
mhm,
and that, it's just like I saw the light somewhere, and even before that, I was myself confused about spirituality. But when I experienced it personally, I felt that spirituality does exist. So it's up to you. I mean, people believe it or they don't believe it. It's up to the people. People are independent to do that. But it's quite helpful in balancing out a person's nature in this technological world, which might otherwise make them so hard and so hard to accepting emotions. So spirituality is not God. I wouldn't
mhm,
describe spirituality as God, but spirituality is a belief. It's a kind of emotion which makes you believe in something. So the spirituality can be anything. It can be your parent, it can be a friend, your husband, in God, or anything. So that's spirituality according to me. So exactly, spirituality according to me is not an idol. It's not
mhm.
a person or someone. It's a kind of belief, or it's kind of hope, a kind of light, I would say.
Yeah, I guess like everybody's spiritual journey is different and unique to each own, I think. And you gotta believe that to unlock that, spirituality power, I think. And again, like I think I'm still working on it, to be honest. Sometimes like we're easily get caught up with like the material world, I think,
Yes,
and
yes,
now that with social media and then all the distraction, all the news. So sometimes
that's
we
right.
forget to check in with ourselves.
That's right.
So based on your story, can I say that Raktim and then her children, Rick and Maya, and another one later in the book, are they a key element to unlock Lina's spirituality?
They are, in one way, yes.
Mhm,
We can think that they are a way of unlocking Lena's spirituality. As I said, spirituality for her,
mhm,
uh, even for me, as for my protagonist Lena, spirituality for her is a hope, is a
mhm,
positive side of life, is a light, and her future. So spirituality is not restricted to something or someone according to her. So her falling in love for the second time in her life with Raktim itself is spirituality. Her
mhm,
believing in Christianity, and that even helped her to guide the leader of the terrorist gang, out of what he was, to reform that person. That's spirituality according to her. So spirituality means different things to her. It means the victory of good over evil. It means the ultimate light. It means her dreams, her hope, her life, her family, and everything. So that's what it means to Lena.
mhm. Yeah, and I love that you put this spirituality with a lot of symbolism in your novel. Sometimes it is very subtle, but it makes you wonder. So, at the end of the book, well, this is probably a major spoiler, but yeah, but like I hope that it doesn't take away your interest, because there's so many things going on in the book that you have to read to follow until the end. So at the end of the day, Lina and Raktim managed to become a family, and they live happily ever after in the United States. But then Lina also gave birth to a daughter that looks like Maya. So
Yeah.
again, what kind of symbolism here that you're trying to convey? And maybe because I think like they're already happily ever after in New York, like why do uh I mean like why do you decided to give them a daughter? Like, is there something, a meaning behind this birth that
Well,
closed the chapter?
yes.
Yeah.
So you have touched upon the most favorite part of my book for me too. I don't know how is it for people who have read it, but that's a favorite part of my book where she gives birth to a daughter, and it said I've written there in the novel that it looks just like Maya. I mean, her eyes resemble Maya. So it's up. I've really left it to the audience to feel that who is Maya actually. So
Mm-hmm.
whether is Maya someone who represents something, giving out a strong message to the society, or is really after Maya went back, did something happen to her and she's reborn again as Lena's daughter? Or is it because that Lena was, after Maya left, Lena was very sad. She kept searching
Mm-hmm.
for a long time. Or is it because that she wanted a daughter like Maya that she was born to her again? So that's really a turning point of my novel, and that's the most favorite part of my book as well. So it's up to the audience to guess what they would want to. For some of you, to all my readers, for some of you, Maya might have existed and she just came to Lena's life to give her hope and to make her realize that if Maya, being from a poor family, can survive, why not Lena? So she might be an inspiration to for her, and that's why she always wanted someone like Maya, and she's reborn as a daughter later on. Or Maya might be totally symbolic. She might be representing feminism and an epitome of feminism, and we see her like that just as a symbol in the novel. So it's I would really leave it to the audience without going much in details, because that's the important bend of my book. That's the
Yeah.
important turning point of my book, actually.
Yeah, leaving the curiosity to the leader,
I
to the
think I
readers.
would, I think I would leave it to the audience, because it's best left that way. The curiosity of the audience. That's the charm and the turning point of a journey with you when you read that part.
Yeah, and just a reminder for the audience, you can always purchase Brianna's book in our website. So if you go to our program page, Book Launch the Journey with You, there is a button there that will directly link you to the e-com site. So you can purchase it, so you can read it, and yeah, and then think back about our discussion if it's true to you. And by the way, we have already like comments and shout outs from the our live audience. So let me read it one by one. You
Sure.
have a comment from Partha Bakshi. Good
Okay.
it going, Tanya. Very much proud of you. Shine more as an author.
Oh, thank you so
And
much, Partha, and thank you. If you read my book, well and good, you know what I'm talking about. If
mhm,
not, do grab my copy. It's available on Amazon.com, and you
mhm.
can see it at the festival website, UBUD festival website too. And you can grab a copy and read it, and do let me know how you loved it.
Yeah, I'm sure you will love it very much. And there is Manoj Roy. He said, fantastic. And there is Kinanti cheering with hands emoji.
Oh,
And Kinanti, and she also asked question. Great discussion, you two. Question for both of you. What book that is most inspiring to you personally and your writing style? So maybe I will let Brian answer first.
uh, about well, I do love reading a lot of books, but if you ask me particularly that what I'm inspired by and what's my favorite book, I do love the women authors a lot, and
Mhm.
Emily Bronte is one of my favorite author, and my favorite book by her is Wuthering Heights.
Oh yeah, the classic.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah. Um, so for me, I guess I have to answer it. I take many influence. I think like I read a lot of poetry. I read a lot of like fiction. Yeah, if when Brianna mentioned female author, I must say my favorite female author is Margaret Atwood, who is the author of The Handmaid's Tale,
Yeah.
dystopian. Yeah, I really like the story of like reality bending, almost like mind blowing kind of story. So
And
she's
it's
probably my
very important,
favorite.
yes, Ayu. And the way this authors they write,
Mm-hmm.
the way they write, and they're so inspiring. I mean, authors or writing, strong writing really has the power to influence and
Mm-hmm.
change society. That's what I believe in, Ayu.
Yep.
And they really have the, as it is said, a very famous saying that the pen is mightier than the sword. It's a very
Mm-hmm.
famous saying. So, you can really write something, and you that can really bring about a change in someone or a broader society. It's very much possible.
Yeah, and I also believe in the famous saying, I don't know who coined it, like turning pain into pearls. So I think it is very much true that we can turn our experience and observation, even though it's painful as it is, into something that is like meaningful to share with everyone.
It
So,
is. It is definitely. And as a writer, I think both Ayu, you and me, I mean, we would recommend people out here to read as much as possible. Whatever you like reading, if it's just for 5 to 10 minutes a day, do read. I mean, that changes a lot of things. That's my personal
yeah,
experience.
they say a reader lives many thousands life. So if you sometimes I live like Lena, in your book I was Lena.
When I was writing this book, I was actually living the life of Lena.
Yeah.
When I wrote my second book, Behind
Oh
the
yeah.
Clouds, so I feel that I'm leading the life of that character about whom I'm writing, actually.
Okay, let's talk a bit about your second book here. You have Behind the Curtain.
That's
Sorry,
right.
Behind the
Yeah.
Curtain. Yeah. Tell us about a bit of the story, the summary, or who are the characters and what is the characters doing, the setting.
Okay. So first thing what I would like to say here is, I wrote it at a time when I was not in Indonesia that time. I was somewhere else in a different country. And that made me miss this place so much. And I thought of basing a story in this place, in the
Oh,
island of Bali itself, which I love.
wow.
Yeah, that's correct. And I missed it so much that I thought of putting it down on paper, fictionally.
Mm-hmm.
So I created a story which revolves around three people.
Mm-hmm.
These three people, they come from different parts of the world on a project, and they meet at Bali, uh, and they become friendly with each other, and so happens that they fall in love with each other, and then
Mm.
a lot of events
So
happen.
it's like a love triangle, I assume.
It is kind of not. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's the way you see it. For me, it's not a love triangle. Actually, it's like a few things happens coincidentally. I mean, due to the
Mm.
situation that time, or as due to the time, or whatever happened in their life. Certain things happen to their life that they are forced to fall in love. And I think people should read it so that you can get the ebook version, the Kindle version, in Amazon.in and in Amazon.com, and the print version too. So do grab a copy of that, and if you have a chance, to read it.
Yeah, I will grab the copy because it's located in Bali, the setting.
Yeah, you should actually.
We actually have a lot of comment here. Thank you guys for writing the comments and the shout out. We have questions from Parta Bakshi.
Yes.
According to you, till now, which year of incident was the toughest to handle in your life?
Which year of incident was in my life? I mean, as an author. um, See, even though in the beginning I said that I'm an author, but then I'm not someone uh, who is only seen in book festivals or in the bestseller list, or signing book for my readers. So I'm very much a woman, a normal person. So I did have my ups and downs in my life, as everyone would have. So I
Mm-hmm.
had my good times, and I had my bad times. But as such, I can't recall the toughest time of my life as such. But then, yes, I did have my good times and bad times. So it was a topsy turvy or a turmoil of both of them together.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, I mean, like, we have to see life with ups and downs instead of like labeling it, oh, this is my worst day, this is my best day. So I'm trying to train my mind to think that way, to manage expectation as well. Well, we actually have 10 minutes left, so I'm just going to read comments and they're all directed to you. This is comment by Sekar Langit. Sekar Langit is also an author and she launched her book in the festival just a week ago. Her
Oh,
book is
nice to know.
3.67, if I'm not, yeah, it's a sci-fi book and it's in Bahasa Indonesia.
I heard about it, I think. I heard about
Yeah.
it, yes.
Yeah, Sekar Langit said, love is something that cannot be limited by boundaries. What a powerful message. And then there is comment by Deep Takshar Day. Your
Mhm.
work beautifully portrays the women. I love your concept of feminism as expressed in your writing. Main characters of your novel is so relatable, both strong and vulnerable, qualities which coexist. And there is a comment from Purabi Mahapatra. Really feel proud that she is our close friend. We wish you will go to long way. And
Thanks,
then,
Puravi. Thanks to all my fans. Thanks, Diptaksha. Thanks, Partha. And thanks, Puravi, especially for
mm,
supporting me all the way. A writer cannot be a writer without
the
his or her reader.
support.
So
Yeah,
it's just like a two-way connection. It's the writer and the reader who go together.
yeah, I completely agree. And there is also a comment from Desti. I love Wuthering Heights too. Desti Yuwastina. And there's comment from Abjit Mahapatra. Very proud to see you here, Tanya. So
Okay,
yeah,
okay. So to all my book lovers and fans out there, it's as I say that I'm a writer because you are here with me. So a writer and a reader always go together, and um, I would continue writing. I'm very sure I'm writing my third fiction also. So and it's on its way of publication, and I have I have titled it a masked identity, but I don't know how far I would be continuing with the title. But very soon, I hope to publish it and reach out to all of you very soon.
yeah, we will look forward to it. It's I mean, with this pandemic, we stay at home. Like we need many things to read. You know, we will take our time to read all the books in the world.
I think it's a good time to utilize your time reading. So all of you out there, all you busy people who don't get time to read, I think this is a good time to utilize
To
and
catch up.
yeah,
Yeah.
online and you can read those books.
Yeah, I think we're coming to the end of the session. Thank you for people who have commented and shout out to Brianna. And I believe Brianna has a favorite passage from the book she wants to read to close the event.
Yes, thank you, Ayu.
Mhm.
So this is my book. So I do have a physical copy with me, and for readers, if you want to read this, you can go to, as I say, the ebook in Amazon.in and Amazon.com, and the print version, and you can read it. Whereas I would like to read chapter 21 of my book, and it's about this time. Now, this chapter it talks about the time when Lena and Raktim they are married already, and she gets married, the man of her, the love of her life. And it's that time when just after that marriage, they go somewhere, they go to visit a beautiful city. And I'm reading it from page 81 of A Journey with You, chapter 21. Um, so the last pages, I don't think there would be much time for read to me to read the entire chapter, isn't it, Ayu? I think.
I think we have like 6 more minutes.
Okay, so I will
Yeah.
just end up with the last passage of the book. So she wondered, so those of you don't know, it's Lena I'm talking about. She wondered if any husband in this earth can ever treat his wife the same way as a father treats a daughter. A daughter is always treated like a princess by her father. She seemed to be talking to herself when Raktim held her hand tight and said to her, "And I will treat you like my queen." As the car now drove to the main road and none of the neighboring houses were visible now, she could still see her father standing at the lane, waving at her, tears in his eyes. So readers, I guess we don't have much time for me as much as I would love to read the entire chapter. This is just a small passage out of the book. Why it's my favorite? Because, as I said, every woman is loved, every girl is loved by her father. But as Lena marries Raktim, the love of her life, she realizes that he treats her the same way her father has treated her all her life. To her father, she was a princess. To Raktim, she is the queen of his life. So that's how love is, and that's how I believe in love. I believe it can change everything. At the same time, don't change yourself. Don't give up to everything. Be a fighter. Be courageous. Keep fighting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brian. I mean, I really love that you share your humbleness to us, your experience to us, and your thoughts to us. And yeah, I really enjoyed the session today. I learned so much from you from this
Yes.
talk and our, preparation talks before this event. I have so
And
much
to the
pleasure.
entire Kambali team, to the entire Kambali
Mm.
2020 team, to Ayu and everyone out here who has made this event possible. Because without you all, this wouldn't be possible. And a writer, I'm not alone. I will always need your support to go ahead.
Yeah, and we will always support you. We will be waiting for your third book to launch as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's time for me to close the session by saying thank you for everyone who's watching this live stream, and you can always rewatch. Oh, there's one question: social media of Brianna. Do you have social media?
Yes, I am on Twitter and I'm on Instagram as well. So you can follow me on Twitter. It's Briana.Taniya. It's Tanya.
Okay.
Briana.Taniya. And with the same name in Instagram as well.
Okay. Okay, we have to close this live stream right now. Thank you so much, Brianna. Thank you so much
Thank
for the
you.
audience who have been watching this
Thank you,
live stream.
audience.
Yeah, and you can always rewatch this. So, Kambali 20 was made possible with the support of the Yayasan Mudra Swari Saraswati program, Patron program, and their donors. The Patron program was created to seek assistance for the survival of both festival and the foundation. By making a valuable contribution to the Yayasan Patron program, you will be directly involved in delivering both festival in due time. Your contribution will guarantee the future of Indonesia's most meaningful cross-cultural platforms of words, ideas, cultures, and the creative arts. Follow at UBUD Writers Fest on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, or visit ubudwritersfestival.com for more information about the Patreon program. So, my name is Ayu Meutia and Brianna. So, I guess we would like to say thank you for
Yes,
watching our live stream
yes. To
today.
everyone, to the audience, and see you very soon again. Stay safe. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, stay safe, everyone. Please
And keep
practice
reading.
social distancing, wear your mask, sanitize your hand,
That's right. And keep reading.
and yeah, and see you until travel is possible
You.
for
Bye.
everyone.
See you soon.
Yeah, bye bye.
Bye bye.